In a moment of anger, during an argument with my wife, she didn't hold back or think, she just blurted it out. My wife said her ex was bigger and better than me. I never imagined a single moment could unravel everything I thought I knew about my marriage. It all started on a night that seemed ordinary at first. I had gotten home later than usual, exhausted from work, carrying that familiar weight of deadlines and stress on my shoulders. My wife, Emma, was in the kitchen, humming a tune, and I could feel the tension in the air even before I walked in. There had been little arguments over trivial things recently, laundry, dishes, who forgot to pick up groceries, but nothing major. Or so I thought. That evening, the argument started over something stupid, as they always do. I had accidentally left a stack of papers on the dining table, and she snapped at me, saying I was always careless, always thinking only of myself. Her words were sharp, quick, but what happened next stopped me cold. In a moment of frustration, a burst of anger, I raised my voice, pointing out things she had done that irritated me for months. I thought I was being understood, I thought we were airing grievances, but instead, her eyes flashed in a way I'd never seen before. And then she said it. She said it as if it were the most natural thing in the world. My heart literally stopped for a fraction of a second. You know, she said, smirking slightly, my ex was bigger and better than you, and honestly, I enjoyed sleeping with him more. She said it so casually, like she was talking about the weather, not about the most personal, intimate thing between a husband and wife. I froze. My throat went dry. I couldn't even process the words. My brain kept repeating them, trying to convince me it didn't happen. But it did. Every word cut deeper than any knife could. I wanted to respond, to shout, to demand an explanation, but all I could do was stare at her, the anger inside me mixing with disbelief and heartbreak. She saw the shock on my face and laughed, a small, almost cruel laugh that made my blood boil. Relax, she said. It's just a joke. Can't you take a joke? But it wasn't a joke. Not to me. Not when she said it with that gleam in her eyes, that tiny curl of satisfaction on her lips. I realized in that moment that she didn't even think before she spoke. She didn't filter. She didn't care about my feelings. It was all out there, raw, unfiltered, devastating. I left the room, pacing the living room, trying to calm down, to think. I could feel every ounce of my self-respect slipping away. I asked myself how someone you love could casually dismiss the bond you shared in such a brutal way. My mind was a whirlwind of rage and humiliation. I knew one thing for certain, I could not just let this slide. But I also knew reacting in anger wouldn't solve anything. I needed to be smart, deliberate. Over the next few days, I watched her carefully. Every smile, every word, every casual touch felt like a puzzle I had to solve. I wanted to understand why she would say such a thing, and more importantly, I wanted her to understand that words have consequences. I began to notice little patterns, small habits she had never shown me before. The way she checked her phone more frequently, the way she seemed distant during moments we used to be close. The anger and betrayal I felt only grew with every passing day. Finally, I confronted her, not with rage, but with calm, quiet determination. I asked her directly about what she said, about what she meant. At first, she laughed it off again, saying it was just something that popped out in the heat of the moment. But I could see the hesitation, the flicker of something real in her eyes. I pressed on, explaining how deeply it hurt me, how it made me question everything about us, about our intimacy, our connection. She tried to brush it off, but the sincerity in my voice finally broke through. Then came the moment I didn't expect. She admitted there was truth in what she had said. Not everything, not entirely, but the feelings, the memories, the comparisons, she had thought them, even if she hadn't meant to hurt me. Hearing that, my heart sank and my mind raced. Part of me wanted to walk away right then, to leave everything behind. But another part of me knew this was a turning point, a moment where everything could either end or begin again on a deeper, more honest level. I decided to take control of the situation, but not in a way she could predict. I didn't yell, I didn't beg, and I didn't shame her. Instead, I focused on myself, on my confidence, on my worth. I worked on being the man I knew I could be, the man she had married, the man I wanted to be proud of in my own eyes. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, she began to notice the change. I carried myself differently, I spoke differently, and I held a quiet power that she couldn't ignore. One night, a week later, she came to me, genuinely apologetic, and asked if we could talk. I listened to her without interrupting, absorbing her words. She admitted that what she had said was cruel, that it had been unfair, and that she regretted it. But the thing that mattered most was that she began to recognize how much her words could affect someone she claimed to love. That night, for the first time in days, I felt a small sense of relief. We didn't magically fix everything in one conversation. There were long nights of talking, arguments that tested both of our patience, and moments where I wondered if it was even worth it. But over time, I saw a shift. Not only did she become more thoughtful with her words, but I also became more aware of my own needs, my boundaries, and my self-respect. That night, that devastating comment became a turning point in our marriage, not just a wound, but a catalyst for deeper honesty and understanding. Looking back now, I can't deny the sting of her words. They cut deep and left scars that never fully disappear. But I also realized that the way I responded, the way I reclaimed my dignity and demanded respect, changed everything. What happened next was shocking, not because of revenge or drama, but because it led to a truth we had both been avoiding. Sometimes, it takes hitting rock bottom, even in the form of one cruel sentence, to build something stronger. So, if there's one thing I've learned, it's that words matter. Actions matter more. And when someone you love throws a bomb like that into your life, you have a choice, to crumble, or to rise stronger than before. I chose to rise. And in doing so, I discovered a side of myself I didn't know existed, a side powerful enough to face betrayal, humiliation, and the harsh truth, and still come out standing.